and we'll get this going. Okay, well, this is a great segue too, because so what I wanted to talk about first is I was having this conversation. This is a little history behind why I wanted to discuss different nutrition plans, different styles of eating today. I was in a conversation with someone and they're like, okay, my thighs are getting bigger and blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, what's your nutrition plan? And they're like, my nutrition is on point. I'm following the Whole30 diet, so I totally eat healthy. And I'm like, okay, but how many calories are you getting in? And they're like, okay. So the point being, there's styles of eating like Whole30, paleo, gluten-free, low carb. All of those are like a style. And I wish I had a better word for it because some of it's medical, right? What'd you say, Sue?
You froze for a second. Sorry.
Okay, I'll turn my video back off again. And so they're
all sit out in the driveway.
Right? I think it'll get worse. There's all these styles of eating, but they're not a nutrition plan. A nutrition plan involves you knowing macros, calories, something that you're tracking, something that gives you a guideline, something to follow, right? I mean, I hear a lot of people do Whole30, and while it can be a great plan, it can be really helpful. It's not, combining your intake with your output and figuring out what matches up for your lifestyle and what you're doing. So I wanted to talk about I know we all have these preconceived ideas about what a plan is, or not a plan, what a style of eating is. And so I just wanted to have like a conversation about, different things you've heard, or if you wanted to know more about something in that kind of forum, like, what's low carb all about? What's keto about? Whatever the questions are, that kind of information.
Don't all talk at once.
Right?
Is this the question portion of the conversation?
It is. Well, at first I didn't know if I had finished talking for you guys yet, because I'm so far behind. So, and I mean, maybe you don't have questions. Maybe you kind of already know. So are there any styles of eating you want to know more about or are curious about? Because we can move on to other things too.
Well, I'm curious on how intermittent fasting can work, because I it kind of just goes against everything I've always heard. Get up, get your metabolism going by eating breakfast. And then, my friends that do intermittent fasting don't eat until noon or 11. And I just wondered if you had any insight into that.
Yes, I do actually. So intermittent fasting works for a lot of people because it is a calorie reduction, because you can only eat so much during the hours you're allowed to eat, right? So if your hours are smaller, like some people do even like only a 4-hour window, you're not going to get very many calories in that time, because you can't possibly consume it in that amount of time. Now, there are other ways, like Alana talks about shutting down dinner at 6 o'clock or whatever. After you're done with dinner, it's dinner and done, and then you go till breakfast. That's also kind of a form of intermittent fasting. So, there's some wiggle room in there, and it does allow your body to have some time to like finish and rest. Oh, let me look at your question, Kim. They're eating all their calories in a 4-hour window.
Challenge accepted.
I don't think that would be a problem for me. I could be
I bet if you try it.
1:30 is lunch, 3 o'clock is dinner.
You seriously should try it. You should try it, because you really do. Like, I've done intermittent fasting, and I've only done, I think I did as small as an 8-hour window, because more than that, I get cranky. But yeah, I mean, you just kind of have to figure, and for some people, it really does work well. Like I'm sure my oldest son could absolutely intermittent fast because the kid can go all day without eating, right? But like there are some hormonal things in there too. And there are a lot of women that it doesn't work very well for because it creates a stressor. And so then if you have higher cortisol levels and, if you're not regulating that, then you're not going to feel as good on it. So it really is an individual thing. There's nothing necessarily magical about it. There's not any studies proving it helps you lose weight more than something else. It's about being in a calorie deficit.
How does that work? So, like, one of the biggest struggles I have is that sometimes I would say, like, not every night, but some nights when I get ready, like, before I go to bed, like, right before I go to bed, I'm like starving. And so some nights I just force myself to go to sleep because I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, you don't need to go eat peanut butter crackers, or like eat peanut butter out of the jar. I'm not like shoveling it in my mouth, so we're clear. Like it's contained, but like I'm like, you're not hungry, even though I am. But then some nights I'm just like, man, I'm tired and I can't go to sleep. I don't know if that's if anyone else has experienced that, or how you deal with that in terms of staying with containers, or like just overall like dealing with that. Because if I could cut that out, like that would be amazing. But like some nights I'm just hungry. And I do drink water to try and figure out if I'm thirsty or if I'm legitimately hungry.
Yeah. Well, and
When
you
I
might
was on
just be hungry. I mean, you might be hungry, right? Like if you had a day where you burned a
Isn't
lot
that a
of
problem?
calories. It's not a problem.
It's usually happening when I'm finding that I'm not like, I mean, I am burning, I guess that actually makes sense now that I think about it. I am burning a lot of calories those days. Like because my normal caloric burn I don't think it's not 2000 calories, but if I'm burning over like 17, 18, 1900 calories a day, that's what I'm finding myself. Like at night, I'm like, oh, peanut butter and crackers before I go to bed. I'm using the water crackers and all natural peanut butter. So we're clear.
Mariana, you know what I do when I was on the containers? I would save a container for night. Usually I'd save an orange container filled with sunflower seeds because I like them. And if you know you have that to look forward to with a cup of tea, that might be all you need to get yourself through.
Oh, I love that. I've just been saving my teaspoons so that at night I can eat 3 teaspoons of peanut butter.
That's awesome.
Because left unchecked, like I would eat tablespoon after tablespoon of peanut butter out of the jar.
You're not alone. Don't worry. We're all shaking our head doing
Well,
this.
if you save something, you have
I'm
it to
shaking
look
my head
forward
too,
to.
even though you can't see me.
Like if you know you get hungry and you save something, at least you're not cheating. And
That's a good idea, Kathy. I'm gonna have to like really, I think it'll be in my best interest to really try to hone that in and do that. Cause yeah, my containers they've not been bad, but there's always room for improvement, people.
And do you think that, Mariana, during the day that you are hungry, have you missed something else off your containers that day? Or maybe you had like spinach and
probably.
you know what I mean? Like maybe you just also didn't get enough. And if you're pretty regulated, your body's going to be, you're going to know.
Yeah, probably. I think to Lily's point, going back to tracking my food would be helpful. And I think that's something that I will embark upon over the next week and see what that does. So yeah, that's helpful. I just didn't know if I was the only person that was like getting starving, but before I went to bed, I'm like, snack time. And my husband's like, what are you doing snack time? I'm like, don't.
it could be a habit too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it was for a while, but I haven't had food before I went to bed in almost a week. Now watch, tonight I'll be in the cabinet, but it's fine. This is fine.
Well, and if like when
I can tell you that.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say when I'm like really, on my containers and I am like in a weight loss mode and I am hungry at night, it's been helpful to have recharge too. Because not only are you probably working out pretty hard in your workout program, but that's that slow releasing protein at night. And it was nice knowing that I would still be able to have that. And so if I had a little hunger, then that would cover it.
Does that count as a container?
Nope,
No.
not when you're working
Okay.
out. But it's 20
I've
grams.
been using Shakeology in the later part of the day.
Have you tried Bevy?
So I did, and I have it, and I'm not a fan of it.
Okay, because I've done that and at night sometimes when I get hungry like that. For me right now, like when Shark Week comes, forget it. I want to eat all the peanut butter, all the chocolate chips, everything. And especially when I lift heavy, I notice that I am ravenous like you are. Like I'll be like all day. I'll be just starving all day. And then the next morning when I wake up, I'll be starving as well. Even if I've had good
Yeah.
food and ate from the top of the list, I just seem extra hungry, either during Shark Week and when I lift heavy. So
I'm actually listening to a book on all that right now, and it's totally normal. And it's like, it is the way we are built. It's called Roar, and it's it is amazing. I think it's going to be an amazing book about women and training and food and how different we are from men and how we need to train differently and feed ourselves differently.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Add that to my list.
So Deanna, tell me what your thoughts are on the keto diet.
You know, my whole theory on things in general is that you should really get good at whatever you're willing to live with for your life, right? And keto is effective most of the time temporarily because people don't want to live like that for their life. There's medical instances where it is amazing, right? And it can be really helpful if you're severely overweight to get yourself rolling, but you're still not learning how to handle carbs in that instance. And I think it's not like all of a sudden your body's still burning things. You know, I mean, it's not like keto makes you, it's still trying to look for the carbs to burn it and then it goes to the fat, if that makes sense. It's not like it's trying to like change itself into this fat burner versus a carb burner. So, and most of the time you're more satiated when you have all the fats. So you know what I mean, you can go at a lower calorie level and still feel satiated. But you're probably not getting the same nutrient values that you would get if you were diversifying your diet. And so that can lead to some other issues. So, I mean, it's like, I'm not going to be like, you shouldn't do something unless it's like harmful. But I really think you need to figure out what you're willing to live with in the long term instead of just how can I get this weight off? Because then all of a sudden your weight's off and then what? Honestly, I feel like the maintenance part, I mean, I lost 45 pounds a decade ago, but the maintenance part, that's the part you got to worry about. Losing weight compared to maintenance isn't really, you know, weight loss isn't as big of a deal as maintaining the weight loss, because now it's like you have to stay there and you're not in this mode because the weight loss section of things isn't as long as maintenance is, right? Maintenance is now for life. So you really have to figure out how to mentally handle it and handle it with your food.
I wish I could get there and have that problem.
Well, you know, I mean, all of it is like, it's really a process. And it's like, I know I say that too much, but like, it's one of those things where it's like your mindset has to shift for your body to shift. And then you just keep shifting until you get to the place you want to be. It's not like one of those things where, like, I've seen people who like, they start a weight loss plan and they do it, right? But they didn't change anything about how they thought about the food. They didn't change how they were going to act after they could have the things they thought they wanted all along, or the things they thought they were missing. And so then you're fighting that still. Or maybe you didn't figure out the emotional attachment you have to food and why. And so then you go back to those things in stressful times. So it's that's the hard part too. It's not a one size fits all.
Can I add something about the keto diet?
Yeah.
So I was considering that because I'm like really overweight, and I bought some cookbooks actually from Barnes and Noble, and I started reading it. And in their own book, the keto cookbook, it said that you should not do that diet long term, and that you're depriving yourself of very important nutrients and minerals and vitamins, that you should be taking supplements, so on and so forth. And I'm looking at this going, that does not sound healthy to me whatsoever. And that's why I decided to join Beachbody, because I'm looking for a lifestyle change, not just a diet. And taking in all that fat, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a sustainable, healthy diet. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents on it. That's why I didn't do it.
I would agree with you. A few years ago, I never did keto, but I cut carbs out of my body, like didn't have carbs, like cut alcohol. It was like really strict with what I was eating. And I got down to, I was 114 pounds with 12% body fat, and I wasn't done. I was trying to get down to like, I wanted to get down to 10% body fat.
Damn. Were you trying to not have your period or what?
No, it just wasn't a healthy situation in terms of like my eating and my fitness. And I was working out for like an hour plus a day, but I wasn't eating carbs. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing anything. Like I was very regimented.
That's where I got down to. How tall are you?
I'm 5'6".
Wow.
Yeah,
Which
it was
means
not
low.
Yeah, it really was. It was really unhealthy. And so, to the point of cutting carbs and doing all these things to deprive yourself, like, no, I would agree with you. Like joining Beachbody for a lifestyle change is a far more effective manner for your body and just your overall mental health.
Are you trying to lose weight now, Mariana?
I want to kind of cut down. I'm actually at my heaviest that I've ever been for my frame. So I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm doing it in a manner that's a lifestyle and it's not a quick fix. And so trying to identify like my nutrition and working out and things like that, which is why I come to this group every Thursday. And it's like actually my favorite part of the week, truth be told. Like I get so excited to see everybody and like talk about all this stuff. So yeah, that's basically why I'm here, is really to lean into my nutrition choices.
Can I offer one insight on all that?
Yeah.
Autumn talked a lot about this in 80-Day Obsession, and I feel like people still miss it a lot. And that is, if you have 10 pounds or less, you should be eating in maintenance. If you know what I mean? Like, because maintenance is where your body feels good, lets the fat stores go, allows you to still, like, you're almost toward that muscle building phase, but it's like in a happy place. And that's where people really shredded, especially in phase 3, is being in maintenance. Some even were above a maintenance level in phase 3 and just shredded down. And that's where you start losing your body fat. When you're close to that goal is when you raise your food, which I know seems counterintuitive. Now, not for competition. Like, if you're, what'd you say?
Yeah, I would love to go offline to talk a little more about that, because I have a lot of questions and I don't want to like kind of be the hitch and the giddy up of this evening. But thank you for that. That's kind of mind blowing. So I would love to connect with you offline about that.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe we should do a segment on it.
We totally could. We could.
I
Yeah, I
agree.
think we should talk
Maybe
about.
we should do a segment because it's a big deal.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, that is mind blowing. Like, I would have said the same words too. So that's
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll do that next week. I don't have a topic for next week.
Oh,
So, is there any more
I
questions
can
about
attest to that, because my transformation post actually came up from 80-Day Obsession today, of all days, and I was following the nutrition in the maintenance bracket, and which is way more food than I would normally eat, and it makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference. I saw really good results for me. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I put on a lot of muscle and changed my shape, was 80-Day Obsession. And I ate in maintenance, and I was all the way up to E by the time I finished the program.
Which
That's
is
a lot
scary.
of-
That's why we need to talk about it.
yeah.
I missed, what topic did you say for next week?
We're going to talk about eating, like when you're picking your plan, your portion control plan, and eating in maintenance versus eating in weight loss, and when you make transitions and how you decide where you eat.
Okay. All right.
And just real quick, I saw there was a couple, like Joy, you do a 16-8 split, and Kelly, you're a 14-10. So like a 14-10 is just a pretty regular day, right? That's what most of us adhere to if you don't eat at nighttime, essentially, right?
Well, I don't eat in the morning. So my first meal of the day is anywhere from earliest might be like 11:30, but I typically, sometimes I'm eating at like 1, sometimes 2.
Oh, okay.
So it's later, way later. That's my, so
eating.
yes, I don't do breakfast. I don't do breakfast. No, I'm fasting for 14 and I eat in a 10-hour window.
10-hour window. Okay.
So you're saying that's typical for most people?
Well, like I eat at 8 and I stop at 6. So that's 10, right?
And how many meals do you all eat?
I eat
I probably,
usually.
I eat 3 full meals, and then I do have maybe one snack for sure, and then maybe another one.
So you start eating at like around 1. What time do you stop?
Well, that's part of my problem. I eat too late, so I'll eat up to 10 because I work late. So that's part of my problem. I haven't shifted it, but I don't want to eat too. This is my problem. I'm an emotional eater and I stress out a lot too. So if I start like at 7 a.m. in the morning, you'll catch me eating all the way until 10 p.m. And I don't want to do that. So I just don't eat in the morning. And a little bit, part of the lunch hour.
Mhm.
So that's how I maintain. Otherwise I would blow up like a balloon.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's not the greatest, but it could be worse.
Well, honestly, it's a really regular plan. If you think about it, like I start in the morning and I don't eat after dinner. You start around lunch and eat till the night. So it's really the same plan. You just happen to, maybe you work out in the morning.
Yeah,
but it's really a regular plan.
And Kelly goes to sleep right after she eats.
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
Kelly goes to sleep.
There's no thing against sleeping after you eat. It's not.
So I work out in the morning. I used to work out in the evening and I used to be super hungry. So now working out in the morning, I don't have that hunger, so I'm not having to eat anything, which is good.
Yeah, exercise can
but I
appetite.
still eat late. Yeah. So I think it's just the eating late. I mean, I try to cut it off, but I'll tell you, I think I've told y'all this before, I chew a lot of gum because I'm trying not to go. I have right now hardly any food, but I guarantee you I can find something in there that I would just probably chow down just because I'm like on my laptop working, and it's comfort for me just to keep me going. But I go through gum like crazy. You would think I was a smoker. That's how I chew gum. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. But yeah, I don't know if that'll change in the future for me or not, but that's just kind of the deal. And I don't lose weight. I mean, I'm staying right at the weight that I've been for several months. I did lose a little bit when I switched from working out from night to in the morning, like 3 pounds, and I've kept that pretty much off. So that did help because I was kind of creeping a little too high in the like 150 something. So now I kind of got down into like the 147, 148, and I kind of tend to stay there.
So are you?
But I'm in the last.
Are you currently eating for weight loss?
So well, to me, it's more, I need to lose like fat is what I need to lose. So I really just need to lose like 8 pounds of fat and I'd be done. I mean, 140 is perfect for me because I'm probably right at 5'5", a little under 5'5". So I'm not I'm not really tall, and I'm super small as far as like bone structure, even though my mom says I'm big bone just because I was a 10-pound baby. She throws that in my face. She's like, you're 10 pounds, you're a big bone. I was like, no, you just were in bed because you couldn't, get around when you were pregnant.
Yeah. That has
But,
nothing to do with anything though. I was a 5
I
baby.
know. Anyway, but no, I mean, if you saw me in person, I'm just really thin, small hands, long fingers. Just, people tell me I'm petite, but I don't think I'm petite. I mean, I think I'm average, maybe a little bit smaller, but I mean, I don't think probably if I went down to 135, that would probably be okay, but it's too hard for me to get there. I mean, that would be like 12 pounds that I would have to lose. So I just need to get some fat off of me, but that's nutrition.
Yeah, and if you can tune in next week, that's what we're going to talk about, because maybe you need to be eating closer to maintenance. And that way you do feel like you've had more food too, and you may not binge as much. One of the things I find that maybe you eat in a higher bracket so that you're still eating really good food, right? Good macros. And so that, but so you don't binge, right? Because the binging just adds on the stuff you don't need.
Yeah. Well, I heard y'all talking about peanut butter. I don't buy that anymore. So anything that I know that I'll grab for, I purposely don't buy it. No potato chips. Not that I really did a lot of it, but if I had like anything like that, it's not in there. Candies are gone. But like I said, there's probably one little thing somewhere over there in the kitchen I could probably find if I really wanted to go find it. But yeah. So, but I think it's the eating late that tends to get me. And just the high level of stress that I'm in right now, I think those two things it's just the fat's gonna stay on me. So.
Well, if the
This
eat
is a
late,
weird question, Kelly. Do you meditate?
go ahead. Sorry, Mariana.
Oh, I was just asking, Kelly, do you meditate?
Well, for a yoga instructor, you think I would. I try to 5 minutes a day. That's 5 minutes is kind of what I've got penciled in. It's probably not the best meditation, but you would think it would help, but I think I'm just kind of just so overwhelmed. And Lily knows what's going on with my work and stuff right now. It's just kind of crazy. And actually, I did break out. I'm so stressed. I broke out with a rash. I have it on my neck. It's just too much for me. And my body's just freaking out, and it's going to do it until I find some type of peace within myself. But it's life right now. So I'll get through it. But yeah.
I only ask because I also work in a pretty stressful industry. It's not as stressful as it was the past 4 years, but it's still pretty stressful. And I found that meditating in the morning and taking some time in the evening to just like be quiet, which is interesting because I literally talk for a living, that is actually been very peaceful for me. And it's been helpful for me to manage my stress and just kind of be like, I can only do in this moment what I can do. And that's been very zen for me, that and yoga, but well, we don't need to talk about my yoga practice because it's been abysmal lately, but it's fine. So.
No, I think just working out daily is kind of what gets me through the day, and doing it in the morning versus the evening. That's all. That's kind of the Kelly time I have, even though it's interrupted sometimes more than I like it to be, but that's really all that I have right now. It's just crazy times for work. So
understandable.
Yeah.
Since we're on the topic of working out either in the morning or the evening, so on Monday I worked out in the morning, and I was having a hard time motivating myself because I'm tired and moving slow in the morning. And I almost skipped the second day because my knees were hurting really bad from getting up and down off the floor. But I came home from work and I pushed myself, and I did the workout then in the evening. And I'm a massage therapist, so I'm in a lot of pain, chronic pain from my job. And also the weight that I'm carrying is not helping. Anyways, I found that after the workout, it completely took care of my pain. I mean, I was completely out of pain. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
I-
I've heard that getting the workout done with people with chronic pain, like getting the workout done helps the rest of the day.
Yeah, it was after a full day of working. I was exhausted. My body hurt like it does every night after work. And then I did the workout and I was just like, wow, I felt amazing. So I'm doing my workouts at night from now on, and I've lost 5 pounds already.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yay.
Maybe it releases where you're stressed out too from massaging. Maybe the workout helps kind of balance everything out at the end.
It could. I don't know. It's working for me though. It's motivating me to really do the workouts now because it's alleviating the pain.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good motivator.
Awesome. Well, are there any more questions on different eating styles? It was funny. We started out so slow and now we're like halfway into the call. Otherwise, I'll move on to answering some of the questions we had from last week real quick. Anyone? Okay. So, what?
I was just going to say one more thing. I don't want to take up, the whole meeting. So I'm just going to be completely transparent. I have an eating disorder. I was literally just recently diagnosed with binge eating disorder. And I'm trying to identify why I binge eat. And so that's a topic that I would like to talk about, even if it's in private or whatnot, because I'm trying to identify why I have this behavior issue.
Yeah. Well, first, I would highly recommend if if you're diagnosed or you have an eating disorder, that is absolutely something you should work on with a therapist, nutrition coach, as I am, or, personal trainers. I know we have a lot of certified personal trainers in the group too. We're not equipped necessarily, you know what I mean? That's not our medical area and we can't give medical advice like that. But with the resources we have, Alana talks about binge eating and Autumn talks about binge eating in different videos in BOD. So I definitely recommend that. But there's also nutritionists and nutrition therapists that help you work through those pieces. And that would, I'd highly recommend that. And I don't know if insurance covers those kinds of things or how that even works.
I'm in therapy. I just started seeing a therapist that specializes in this area.
Oh, good.
Which is that's how I've been able to figure out what the problem is. So I'm a person that likes information, or I read a lot of self-help books, things like that. So I'm just trying to take in as much information as I can just to educate myself on this topic to see if I could, if it'll help me figure out what's going on.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I can definitely recommend things like that. And there's podcasts out there. I'll look at a few of the ones that I listen to, but also Alana is a great source for that because she was a binge eater. And she does talk about it. I don't know if her book has it though. I haven't read through it all yet. I don't know if anybody's finished that one. Did you finish it, Kim? No,
I didn't finish it. I would like to read about that. So
yeah, but I'll see if I can find some podcasts to put up too, because it's definitely something, and I'll put it under our call so people can, because there's a lot of that people can benefit from. I mean, I know even if you're not diagnosed with a binge eating, there's still a lot of binge tendencies that you can work yourself through, and things like that. So yeah, I'll see what I can find.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so last week we had talked about probiotics and prebiotics, and I am going to throw in, let me see here, an article. Oh, I can't. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, it won't let me minimize while I'm on here. I will put an article in with the recording. from Precision Nutrition, and that is about probiotics and what it does and how it all works. It's a very thorough article and it's really good. So if probiotics are something that you care about, highly recommend reading it. And we had also wondered what prebiotics are. Well, prebiotics are the foods for the probiotics. So they're supplying that nutrition to the probiotic bacteria so that they can grow and do well and sustain and continue on in your gut so that they can help you. Let's see. We also talked about, let me look here. I'm not remembering. Oh, apple cider vinegar. So that was kind of in the same conversation. There aren't any studies out that are showing apple cider vinegar helps you lose weight, helps your gut biome, it's, people may take it and feel differently. There's not any scientific study right now that says, oh yes, take apple cider vinegar or use this. So it's one of those, if it's working for you.
Of it now.
What'd you say?
That means we can stop taking shots of it.
Right? If it's working for you, then stay
You don't
on.
like it?
Good. That's fine.
I
How do you not stomach that?
The gummies. Yes, Kim, the gummies. I kept seeing stuff about those. That's what made me ask about it. Like,
They're so delicious. I don't know if they do anything, but they're like a treat. So I like it.
well, I'm not sure if it's good to add sugar. What are they sweetened with?
I don't know. Want me to go get it?
Maybe. Yeah, we got to start on the food
Yeah.
labels.
We want to know.
Oh, and that reminds me. So someone in one of my groups today brought up those little energy bars. What are they called? Like, what starts with a V? Vibe or Viper or what are those? They're like a bunch of coaches have been promoting them lately. And they're just these little tiny energy bars, but they're like a food bar. Trying to think.
I saw the post, but I can't remember. Is that the one in the white bag
Yes.
with the polka dots?
I'll look it up really quick here. But I looked at the nutrition label today because I've been wondering.
I can tell you about this one.
What'd you say, Kim? Verb. Okay, Verb Energy. So they're all over the internet now. And so I was curious too, because I was like, I keep seeing them and they're basically like having a cup of coffee, but in like a little energy bar. And so what we talked about, like, cause we ran through the label in the group and talked about it. And basically, the heads up is it's not really nutritionally valuable. So don't put your Verb bars away because they're not really going to help you with anything nutritionally. They may give you a hit. It might be, instead of having your coffee, but they like a lot of cane sugar, agave, and brown rice syrup, I think it was in there. And then like the things that they did use for crunchies, like the rice crunchies and stuff, didn't have a lot of fiber. So they're, really just didn't bring much to the table. And then it used like almond butter. And this little guy was like 90 calories. So if you're at the store, just put those down.
beach bar, grab yourself a beach bar.
Exactly. I have to say the beach bars by far, it keeps me full longer. Like I can eat one and I'm like good to go for a while.
Yeah, I had one this afternoon. I really enjoy them.
All right. So, Kim, what do you got here? You got 15 calories, 4 grams of carbs in that little guy.
I know. I just saw that. I was like, wow.
Is that a yellow then?
It's a yellow.
Well, wouldn't it be if you have 2 of them, it's a yellow?
Yeah.
Like this big. It's this big. I'll have to save that for later. Now that I took it out. But organic cane sugar. Yep. I'm surprised at the carbs. Can't believe it's 4 carbs.
Yeah.
But,
sorry, Kim.
But, I'll tell you what the good thing is that it's not like you eat like 6 of them or anything. You eat like 1 and then it kind of changes the taste in your mouth and you don't really want anything else. It's like mouthwash,
Like, so you could use it at night to not have any more food, kind of like brushing your teeth.
Yeah, that's the way, that's how I do.
Okay. All right. That might be all right then.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm not tempted to eat like a whole jar.
Yeah.
Does it taste like apple cider vinegar?
A little bit. I mean, it tastes more sweet. It tastes a little appley, a little. So
Okay.
it just tastes more gummy than anything else.
Okay.
Is it a gelatin based? What's giving it the gummy part?
It is. Organic tapioca, water, pectin.
Yeah, the
So-
tapioca will make it
All right. Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, it seems most everything on it's organic. You know, it's the goalie ones. They got me. Gluten-free, vegan, non-GMO, and unfiltered.
Yeah.
Does it have the mother in it? I had a Quest bar this week. It was only 160 calories. I think it was 22 carbs, but the fiber was like 6 or something. It was up there. And it had 12 or 15 grams of protein.
Yeah, a lot of people like those. I haven't had one before.
Yeah,
I
this
don't know
was
what's in the.
chocolate coconut. It was
Do you know
really
what
good.
was sweetening it?
I don't remember, but it could have been stevia. I didn't save the
Yeah.
label.
That's what I'd really check out about those, what the protein source is, because if it's like a soy protein, that's a deal breaker. If it's an artificial sweetener, that's a deal breaker. So you just kind of check out those ingredients too to see what the sources are.
Why no to soy protein?
Well, as women, soy can mess with our hormones. It depends on
Wait,
what
you're
type.
strobing.
It depends on what types of soy and what the sources are. Like edamame is still fine to eat. It's a whole source. But when the soy is broken down, it can not be beneficial for us.
Edamame is soy?
Yeah, those are soybeans.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's the actual
Is
soybean.
it, do they say that soy causes breast cancer?
Well, the thing
Is
that
that
soy
true?
does is it can increase your estrogen levels, which can then, if you are prone to a estrogen-based breast cancer.
Okay.
So does that mean we shouldn't be eating edamame then?
No. Edamame is still fine. So when you have like whole sources like that, that's a different than isolating the soy on its own. Like a soy, when things say soy isolate, or I'm trying to think of the other words that are used for a protein. The whole food like edamame is fine. You would have to eat so much edamame, like you couldn't possibly eat enough to create what you would get from a soy that's been isolated and taken out of the product.
Is it a green, yellow, or red?
Oh, I think it's a yellow, isn't it? But if you're
It's
on
a
the
yellow.
vegan, I don't know.
That's
If
what I
you're-
was
It's
afraid.
yellow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because
Yeah, I know it's a,
yeah, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say, yeah, it's the yellow, but I don't know on the vegan plan either.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So on the vegan planet, it's a red.
Okay, that makes sense because it's pretty high in protein. It's a legume, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Guys are like speaking another language.
We're speaking your language?
no, she said we're speaking another language.
Edamame, I'm like, yep.
Here's one for you, Joy. So today I had a handful of snap peas or sugar snap peas, right?
I
So-
love those. Yep.
Yeah, I do too. And if you eat the sugar snap peas whole together in the pod, it's a green. If you eat just peas, it's a yellow.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Wow.
I hate when they make things yellow that should be green. So
Agreed. Yeah. I'm right there with
Yeah.
I'm there with you.
That's why I
So
keep
today I have to tell you
Okay,
this story.
so
Today I
we-
did an art project with my kids. We were drawing a flamingo, so we looked up, fun facts on flamingos, and I was joking about how they're born white and how they they turn pink because of their diet, because they eat shrimp. And then I was like, so what color would you be, if you were the color of what you ate?
Oh
And
no.
it's really
I'd be multicolored if I'm eating all these M&Ms.
Oh, we'd be
Right.
rainbows, but yeah, I wonder
Oh
what
my
the
God,
kids
for me, I
ate.
was thinking I would be white. I'd be white bread, white potatoes, white everything. I'd be the same, like, but we were like, well, what color is pizza? How awful would that be if you turned the color of the food you ate? I was like, well, I'll never be green, but
Is that true about flamingos?
yeah, that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Really? They eat shrimp, so they're pink? Wow. Do they eat anything else? Because they're really all pink.
Yeah, just like snails, they eat snails and
Wow, interesting.
shrimp, and I don't know. There was one other thing I can't remember like that. They dig with their beaks in the sand, so whatever you
Uh-huh.
can get out of that.
So
Wow.
that's why their legs are so skinny, because that's all they eat is shrimp.
Yep.
Well,
You're on a high protein diet.
Exactly.
So my mind was blown because you know how their legs go, you think their knees go backwards. Well, that's not their knee, that's their ankle. So that's like a big foot. Like
Oh,
their knee is really up near their body.
Oh.
So
Oh.
that kind of blew my mind a little bit. Like I was like, what? That big foot? Then they looked kind of scary.
yeah.
Don't have any bad dreams
I have a-
tonight.
I have
Flamingos coming at you.
That's right. It's gonna be the next Star Wars creature. It's gonna be a big.
I have a question
Anyways.
about the Shakeology. Does it have soy in it?
It does not.
Okay.
All of our products avoid
I was
soy.
told that it does. but-
It does not. In any way, shape, or form. No Beachbody products have soy in them.
But the regular Shakeology does have a whey base, whereas the vegan one doesn't,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. So whey
Mhm.
is dairy.
You got vegan.
and that's in the regular Shakeology. So if you have any dairy sensitivities, you want to stay away from the regular. And then the other one, the vegan, has a pea quinoa blend. So it gets us, his protein from several different, it might even use like flax seeds and some other ones. I use all the vegan just because I found like I would be more gassy on the regular. So when I switched to vegan, a lot less gassy. So I'm like, thank you, I'll take that.
Does the vegan taste the same as the regular?
It
I
does.
may try that.
Yeah, it's not as creamy, and I'm okay with that because I tend to make my shakes fruity. So it
Yeah,
just depends.
so
Yeah,
don't
it's just
I.
not as creamy. People have said it's a little grittier, which I could see. It's been so long since I've had the regular.
If you like chocolate, the regular chocolate Shakeology is like milk chocolate, and the vegan tastes like dark chocolate to me. But yeah, it's a little bit grittier. But again, I put my banana in it, and I put my PB2 or whatever, and unsweetened coconut milk, and I don't know the grittiness at all.
I think a lot of people like the vegan vanilla better than regular vanilla too.
I love the vegan vanilla now. It's
Yeah.
so good. And I love
Oh,
the
I think
tropical
I'm gonna
strawberry
try
because
the
it's got this little pineapple-y kind of, it's got the tropical in it. And so like I add a cucumber to mine, and sometimes in the summer I'll add like basil or mint, and it's really delicious.
It is. The tropical strawberry, you can add so many different fruits to it. I added a whole grapefruit to mine this morning. It was
Nice.
yummy.
A whole grapefruit?
I have a grapefruit tree right outside my door. So yes.
Nice,
She's in Tucson right now.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
I'm in my
Arizona.
RV at an RV park, and they have fresh oranges, fresh lemons, and fresh grapefruit trees throughout the whole park, which is really cool.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take some of those when you leave.
Oh, I'll be loading up on Sunday. Yes.
And where do you live when you're not in Tucson?
Seattle, which is why I'm here.
A good idea.
It's 80 degrees here today in Portland, so it's nice.
We're
Wow.
getting
80
snow
degrees in
tomorrow.
Seattle,
New
though.
Hampshire.
It rained in New York.
Oh,
We're
You
getting
got
snow
snow
tomorrow.
going? Oh, man. That's rough.
Tomorrow, they're
Oh.
predicting 2 to
Snow
4
in
inches.
April, no.
But it won't last long, but yeah, no, I'm not happy.
Don't go
Last
home
weekend it
yet.
was 7.
Oh, all right, you guys. Well, we kind of ran out of time for the label, so hopefully you didn't have one that was burning a hole in your brain. If so, you can always throw a picture into the group and we can discuss it offline. And so next week we will talk about, what plan to go on, how, like we can even talk about with 2B Mindset, how to know, like maybe if you need to add a little protein in, depending on the workouts you're doing with 2B Mindset, that kind of stuff. And yeah. And if there's any questions that come up, yes, Mariana.
I just wanted to share one thing jumping off of last week's conversation when you were talking about the SAD diet and the standard American diet. Really quick. So this coming next week is it's Earth Week, or Earth Day is next Thursday. So mark your calendars, get ready to celebrate with Mother Earth. But I was reading Bill Gates's new book called How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, and this blew my mind. So I had to share this with you guys because I thought you would find it equally as fascinating. The American style diet is responsible for almost as many emissions as all the energy Americans use in generating electricity, manufacturing, transportation, and buildings.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, is it like
So
because of our
with you
packaging?
guys.
Like, I wonder what part of it is. Like, is it because, of like all the processing, packaging, the whole thing?
It's basically everything, and it was found through a study done by the World Resources Institute that our diet, so like the way that we're manufacturing our food, the processing of our foods, the eating of our foods, everything is leading to us actually for as many emissions as like everything for the whole country. And I was just like, my mind was blown, and I was like, I can't wait to tell my nutrition friends. And thank you, ladies, for entertaining me.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense too. And, if you think about it, like even just the shipping in of your apples, right? Like where Lily lives is where all the apples are grown, and they go to all parts of the country through the year at different times of the year, because we're now so good at food storage. Like I can still get Honeycrisp apples, which is insane because they should be well past bad at this point. And, it's things like that where if you shop in season, as local as you can get, you're making a difference on how far things have to come. But we're so used to having access to anything at any time of the year now, it's hard.
Yeah. Lily, where are you with all those apples?
well, Washington has a lot of apples.
Okay.
Washington grows a ton of
Washington
apples
State
in
is like
eastern Washington.
Washington State's like the apple growing capital.
Yeah,
Okay.
our apples are shipped everywhere.
And just so you know, Oregon grows 98% of the hazelnuts in the country. So just FYI.
And we both grow a lot of grapes.
A lot of
our
grapes.
favorite wine.
Don't they have garlic up
good
there
wine.
somewhere?
What'd you
Either
say?
Washington or Oregon. Don't they have garlic? It's the garlic capital somewhere.
Oh, that's California.
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 Gilroy, California
Gilroy.
has the garlic festival.
Okay.
Yeah, south of San Francisco.
Yep.
I don't think we can grow avocados locally.
I wish.
And I need those.
Those are good. All right, you guys. Well, I'll let you go. I'm going to go have some dinner.
Bye.
too.
It's 9 o'clock.
you.
Thank you, Dina.
You're
Er,
welcome. We'll see you guys later.
And Dina, put me in that group.
Yep, I'll
that
send you a link to it,
nutrition.
Kathy.
Okay, thank you.
See you later.
Good night, Callie.
Bye.